Welcome, night souls. I'm your storyteller tonight, here to help you drift into deep, peaceful sleep. Before we begin, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more bedtime stories. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is. And if there's a story you'd like to hear next, I'd love to know that too. It started like any other quiet night. Liam had just finished watching a movie, something forgettable, and was halfway through brushing his teeth when the doorbell rang. He froze. It was 12:03 a.m. Who the hell delivers food at this hour? He hadn't ordered anything. No Uber Eats, no DoorDash, no phone call. Just silence, and that strange, persistent feeling of being watched. There he was. A food delivery guy stood on his porch, wearing a red jacket soaked from the rain that Liam didn't even know had started falling. No eye contact. No smile. Just a greasy brown paper bag and a receipt stapled to the top. "Food for Liam Carter?" the man said, voice flat, almost automated. Liam hesitated. He should have said he didn't order anything. But curiosity? That old, dangerous instinct. It got the better of him. "Yeah, I'm Liam, but I didn't. Wait, where's it from?" The delivery man just turned and walked away. No explanation. No car in the driveway. Just vanished into the rain. Liam shut the door and looked at the receipt. That's when the weirdness began. There was no restaurant name. No total amount. Just two lines. Delivery time, 12:03 a.m. Date, September 4th, 2026. Wait. It was only 2025. And then he saw the message scrawled at the bottom in smeared red ink, almost like it was written in blood. "Enjoy your last meal." He opened the bag. Inside was a single white container, unlabeled. Steam rolled out when he cracked the lid open. Inside was meat. Cooked, seasoned. Kind of familiar. Too familiar. He picked up a piece with trembling fingers and sniffed it. His stomach turned. There was a smell he couldn't place at first, then it hit him. Burned hair. He dropped it instantly. His hands were shaking. Was this a joke? Was someone watching him? He rushed to his phone and checked his front door camera footage. Surely the guy must have walked up, right? But the footage showed no one. Just the door opening by itself. The bag, already sitting there. He called the police. They took a report but seemed unconcerned. Still paranoid, Liam searched for answers. He Googled his own name and today's date, just for the hell of it. And then he found it. An obituary. Posted 1 year in the future. His name. His photo. Cause of death, unknown. Date of death, September 4th, 2026. 12:03 a.m. The exact time on the receipt. Just as he began to spiral, his phone rang. Unknown number. "Hello?" Silence, then a voice like wet leaves brushing against the coffin. "We delivered once. But you accepted. So now we come to collect." Liam turned toward the kitchen. The empty food container was gone. In its place was a mirror. Not his mirror. Not from his house. And in its reflection, he saw himself, bloody, pale, eyes rolled back, a slit running across his throat. Behind him, a shadowy figure appears in the reflection. Then a slow, wet whisper. "Bon appetit." The incident I am about to tell you is 8 years old. Jake had been working as a food delivery driver for over 3 years, and he'd grown used to the various neighborhoods and quirky customers. But there was something about this order that set him on edge from the start. The name attached to the delivery didn't appear in the system anywhere else. It was simply Mr. Enoch. He shrugged it off as nothing more than a pseudonym or a nickname. The address was in an older district on the edge of town, one he had rarely been to before. The streets there were narrow, the houses close together, and the atmosphere felt heavy, like the air itself was holding its breath. The sun had just set when Jake punched in the coordinates and started his car. The sky turned to ink as he drove further from the bustling city center. Street lights flickered sporadically, casting uneven pools of light that danced with every flicker of the wind. Jake's GPS gave a final beep, and the car slowed to a stop in front of a weathered, two-story house. The lawn was overgrown, corners of the house crumbling in the dim light. No lights shone from within. No sign of life. His phone buzzed. A message popped up from an unknown number. "Call me when you arrive." Jake's thumb hovered over the screen, hesitation prickling at the back of his neck. The chill in the air suddenly felt colder. He grabbed the pizza box from the passenger seat, opening the door to the silent street. Before his hand could even touch the doorbell, the creak of the front door echoed down the empty street. The door swung open slowly, its creaking slicing through the thick silence like a warning. Standing in the doorway was a tall, pale man, thin as a skeleton, with eyes that glistened in the dim light like dark pools of ink. His skin was almost translucent, stretched tight over his angular features. His lips parted in a ghost of a smile. "You're late," the man said, his voice barely more than a whisper but eerily clear. Jake's heart hit his ribs like a drum. "Sorry, traffic was bad," he stammered, instinctively clutching the pizza box closer. The man's eyes locked onto Jake's with an unnatural intensity. "The night doesn't wait," he muttered. Jake handed over the pizza, but as their fingers touched, a coldness seeped through that chilled him to the bone. The man took the box and closed the door silently behind him. Jake felt a strange urge to turn and leave quickly, but something kept him rooted to the spot. Suddenly, a faint sound trickled from inside the house, soft, melodic, like distant laughter, but warped and twisted with an unearthly echo. The door slammed shut without warning. Jake spun around and tugged the handle. Locked. His phone buzzed again. He pulled it out with trembling hands. A new message. "Why didn't you call?" Jake's breath hitched. His fingers fumbled for the screen, and the phone went black. In the cold, heavy silence, a shadow shifted at the edge of the driveway. Jake's blood ran cold. A figure appeared out of the darkness, another man, a mirror image of the first, except his eyes were empty voids, devoid of life. The shadow stepped closer, silent but menacing. Jake bolted. The night swallowed his frantic footsteps. Jake's lungs burned as he sprinted down the narrow street, branches scraping against his arms and legs like cold fingers. The shadows behind him lengthened and twisted, growing alive with whispered voices that echoed in his ears. His flashlight flickered, barely piercing the oppressive blackness. He dared a glance back. The featureless figure was gliding forward with uncanny speed, never breaking stride, its empty eyes fixated on him like a predator stalking prey. Panic surged through Jake's veins. Every instinct screamed to run faster. Ahead, the street forked. Left led deeper into the abandoned neighborhood, right back toward the city. Without thinking, Jake veered left, hoping to lose his pursuer among the maze of broken fences and toppled garbage cans. Branches clawed his face. The ground became uneven, roots threatening to trip him. But the thing behind him never faltered. He stumbled, nearly falling, and a low guttural sound rumbled from behind, like a growl that echoed from nowhere and everywhere. The hair on his neck stood on end. Just when Jake thought he might outrun it, something cold brushed his shoulder. Quick, like a breath on his skin, and the shadow was suddenly too close. He screamed, pushing forward with every ounce of strength. In the distance, he spotted a weak streetlight humming erratically. With the last shred of hope, Jake lunged toward it, and the shadow halted, retreating into the darkness with a hiss like wind through dead leaves. Jake collapsed under the sputtering light, gasping, soaked in sweat and trembling. His phone flickered back on. A new message appeared. Not far enough. Jake stayed huddled under the flickering streetlight, heart racing against his chest, palms slick with sweat despite the chill. The message's words echoed in his mind, twisting the cold fear into something suffocating. Not far enough. He knew he couldn't stay there. The shadow had almost caught him once. It wouldn't relent. Struggling to regain control, Jake forced himself up and glanced back toward the house he had just fled. It loomed in the darkness like a corpse, empty windows staring blankly ahead, as if watching him. His phone buzzed again. "Come back!" His breath hitched. Why was he drawn to it? He shook his head and began to walk, faster this time, toward the safer, brighter streets. But his steps slowed as he noticed the houses flanking the street, windows shuttered, doors barred. Yet somehow, the faceless figures stood behind many of the windows, their pale faces barely visible in the weak light. They did not blink. They did not move. They just watched. Jake's skin prickled. He tried the words out loud. "Why are you watching me?" No answer. Only the stillness and the faint sound of that warped laughter echoing through the night. Suddenly, his phone buzzed violently in his hand. A photo popped up, a grainy snapshot of Jake himself, standing alone under the streetlight. He looked all around. No one was there. His eyes caught a fleeting shadow slipping between the houses. And the message, chilling in its simplicity. "We see you." The weight of the message crushed Jake, clutching the phone as if it might shield him from the unseen eyes that bored into his skin. His heart thudded like a hammer in his chest, each beat rattling deeper fears he had shoved aside for years. He turned away from the streetlight and started to run, desperate to distance himself. But the houses along the road seemed to multiply, warping and twisting into an endless maze. The street, once clear, folded back on itself, turns meeting the same corners multiple times. Jake stopped, breath ragged. His surroundings were unfamiliar now, though he hadn't gone far. The quiet crept in, thick and suffocating. From the shadows, low whispers emerged, swirling around him, a chorus of voices speaking words just beyond comprehension. He spun around and saw movement, flickers of pale faces watching from cracked doorways and broken windows. A chilling realization dawned. He was trapped. His phone buzzed once again, the screen lighting up with fresh text. "You can't leave." "Not yet." Frantically, Jake tried to call for help, but the signal was gone. Only the eerie glow of the screen illuminated his terrified face. The laughter bubbled up again, warped and distant, yet unmistakably close. And then, from the heart of the darkness, the pale man with the empty eyes whispered, "Stay with us forever." Jake's legs trembled as the horror of his situation settled like ice in his veins. The maze stretched endlessly before him, but the weight of unseen eyes pressed him down, rooting him to the spot. He fumbled with his phone once more, but the screen blinked then died, swallowed by darkness. From the shadows emerged the pale man, the original, the one who had first greeted him. He was joined by the others, silent, unblinking specters with those hollow eyes. They moved closer, their presence a suffocating fog that seeped into Jake's bones. "You cannot leave," the man whispered, voice like dry leaves rustling. "You belong to this night now." Jake tried to back away, but his feet felt like chains. The laughter swelled, growing into a cacophony of whispers and cries. And then, everything went black. When morning came, the street was empty. No sign of Jake remained, no footsteps, no car, no phone. Only the haunted house stood still under the cold dawn, its windows dark and watching. A new message sat on the airwaves, waiting for the next delivery driver. "Welcome to the family."